A workshop was held to disseminate a nutritional survey conducted by Tigray Health Bureau and other partners to assess the nutritional status of children under 5 in Tigray. This survey covered 5 zones and internally displaced people currently sheltering inside camps. The research was unable to cover areas that are still under the occupation of Eritrean and Amhara forces. Ermias works with Emergency Nutrition Coordination Unit of the Disaster Risk Management Cluster in Tigray. He notes the main aim of this workshop was to disseminate the findings of the survey, and he says the survey tried to cover almost all areas that are accessible by the interim administration of Tigray.
Our today's workshop is mainly to disseminate the results that's conducted in Tigray region. And this assessment conducted, we call it Smart Plus survey. It's a nutritional survey with high data quality. And for this Smart Nutritional Survey, partners that are working in Tigray region, specifically nutrition-specific partners that are working in Tigray, all of them are participated, and it was a government-led, which is Regional Health Bureau and the Disaster Risk Management Commission of Tigray region leading this survey, so that we are here to disseminate the result of this Smart Plus survey. And this survey is a regional level survey, so that we are trying to conduct this Smart Plus survey in all accessible waredas in Tigray. And for example, for southern zone, all the waredas are assessed except those that are Lamada, Ofla, that are not accessible by the interim government. Southeastern zone, eastern zone also, there are some waredas that are not accessible, especially Irob Wareda, and some waredas that are adjacent to the Eritrea borders in central zone. And even in northwestern, there are some waredas like Dimas, LMT, and Fieluha that are not accessible from this side, so that we are not conducting those areas, and the entire western zone is not included in this survey. And we are trying to include all the waredas that are accessible by the interim government of Tigray.
Ermias says the findings revealed the devastating outcomes across the region. He adds, the global acute malnutrition rate in camps for displaced people is above 26%, showing that the nutritional status in the camps is nearing famine, according to a standard set by FAO. Head of the Tigray Health Bureau, Dr. Amanuel, also adds, the research in general shows that children under the age of 5 in Tigray are in critical condition.
When we are trying to see the result, we are separating them into two. What are the acute or what are the current malnutrition situation in the region, and what are the chronic malnutrition situations that are happening in the region, so that when we are seeing the acute malnutrition situation, it varies from zone to zone and even in the IDPs. For example, to start with the GAM rate, or the global acute malnutrition for the IDPs is 26.5%, and even the FAO global IPC standard says that if the global acute malnutrition is above 30%, there is a famine in that specific area, so that the situation in the IDP centers in Tigray, the malnutrition situation in the IDP centers in Tigray is almost near to the famine standard that the IPC classification categorizes. And when you come to the other zones, also the central zone, it is 22% of the children out of 100. 22% of the children are acutely malnourished. If you see the central zone, 40% of the population of Tigray is in central zone. And if you are seeing also the northwestern zone of the region, our result shows that 17.5% of the children are acutely malnourished in this zone also. So that when you are seeing the regional level of acute malnutrition, 15.9% of the children that are acutely malnourished. And when we are comparing when you are comparing it to the international standards, this level of acute malnutrition shows that there is a high or critical level of acute malnutrition in the region.
እና የጥናቱ ውጤት የሚያሳየን እድሜያቸው ከ5 ዓመት በታች የሆኑ ህጻናት ላይ
This research included internally displaced people other than the 5 zones. The research shows that 15.9%, almost 60% of children under 5 are in critical condition. At a rate of more than 15% in one region is considered critical.
ባለው በእንግሊዝኛ ማለት አስጊ የሆነ ሁኔታ እንዳለ ነው የሚያሳየው።
When you see the chronic malnutrition as well, chronic malnutrition, for example, when you see the stunting rate, the stunting rate varies also from zones to zones. But when you see the regional average stunting rate is 43%, and the global standard says that if the the stunting rate is above 30%, there is a critical situation of acute the critical situation of chronic malnutrition in Tigray. And another chronic malnutrition indicator is underweight. And the underweight rate for Tigray due to this finding is now 34%, which is above the 30% international threshold for critical level of situation of chronic malnutrition. And the underweight rates varies from zones to zones. And for example, the central zone is 40%, and relatively the eastern zone is 39.5%. So, but overall, our regional average for underweights also is 34%.
The experts cautioned that the discontinuation of aid immensely contributed to this outcome, but they say only resuming the delivery of aid will not alter this disaster. They urge for a joint effort by all concerned bodies to overcome this problem.
There are chronic malnutrition levels that needs time to intervene, so that it may take a multi-sectoral approach to intervene this chronic level of malnutrition. Only health or only agriculture or only giving a food will not be solution, and the multi-sectoral collaboration for these chronic malnutritions are needed. But the acute malnutrition or the immediate need of malnutrition also needs a response, immediately response at this time. And partners that are working in Tigray are currently working on this. But the pause of the food aid also contributes greatly on the acute malnutrition gaps that are for the pregnant and lactating mothers, and mainly the children that are under 5, so that this pause need to be stopped, and food aid need to start, and immediate actions that to tackle this acute malnutrition also be in place. Partners are working on towards that, but this food aid suspension creates a very great big gap on this matter.
የምግብ እጥረት ያለበት እርዳታ ስለቀጠለለት ብቻ አይድንም።
Malnourished children will not miraculously heal when the food aid resumes. They need supplementary nutritious foods and in some cases even medical attention. So we need to work together to adjacently respond to every problem.